I am going to introduce our guy of the hour. I usually actually look at them as a unit. So it's really when I hear Chris, when I hear him, I also hear Rose. I hear both of them. Mr. and Mrs. King is what I say, right? Let me just give you a couple of attributes about them. First, let me say this for the what you see on camera, what you see is actually them in person. They're genuinely this. Let me just say this for my own self. Last year was a place of growth. I was going through a lot of things from relational, spiritual, financially. I was going through a lot of different things that were going that was stretching me. And this team, which I am not a part of, his organization, but they reached out to me and at the moment where I thought I was in a rehearsal and all of a sudden I get a voicemail, I check the voicemail and it was just like, hey, I'm just checking on you to make sure you're okay. And I'm like, out of all people, I'm saying, wow, looking at the different people that you have in your life. And it just let me know that not only is my ACN family here, but looking at the Kings and who they are, definitely the same people that you see in person. What I say is they already have RVP, SVP vibes. If you want to know how to operate like that, this is what you emulate. This is what this looks like, right? Not only that, but their organization, they have a great team out here in Fresno in the Central Valley here, and they're growing, and it's a great thing just to see on there, right? So I am going to get myself out of the way and let this man give us what. Well, first, let me just say that before I go there, he gave us a couple of weeks ago focus, right? And then last week he gave us follow up, right? He gave us follow up. So if you guys can see the trend, there was an F, focus, follow up. I don't know what it's going to be today. It might be, we'll see. I'm ready to see what we have going on here. But anyway, our next RVP coming through is Mr. King. Put your hands together for him.
Harrison, okay, that's all I got today. I'm going with what Mr. Harrison just said. You guys have a great day. We'll see you. Hey, Mr. Harrison, thank you so much. It's a pleasure working with individuals like you, just because you're there for more than just you. You've got a selfless, which is really kind of neat, because your selflessness is exactly what we're going to be talking about today. Selfless. And I appreciate you so much and enjoy being around you and hanging out with you. And we just need to do it more. We need to get together more and make it crazy again. So thank you, sir. Appreciate you so much. So, well, guys, with that being said, you get a chance to work with Mr. Harrison or just sit down with him and ask him questions. We're back to the question thing. Do it. He's so full of information. He's got a heart of gold. And it's interesting because his foundation's seated in the Lord. So when you got that combination, you can't go wrong. So he's just that type of guy. Excuse me. And it's God, family, everybody else, and then himself. And that's how we have to be these days, which is going to be fun, because I'm going to go through some stuff. And it's funny. He says, it's like, yeah, when I see Mr. King speaking, I see Mr. King and Miss Rose. And so it's funny because she's always the one going, turning in her head and coming up with different ideas. Like, what are you talking about today? Well, I thought about this. Okay. And she brings out her notes on her phone and look at this and check this out and watch this video and everything else. And she's an amazing asset. And I'll be honest, she's the other half that makes us whole here with this business. So we're blessed to have that. There's people on here that don't need another half, that just, I mean, Mr. Harrison, he has none of that, doesn't he? Miss Natasha, they're the complete package, these guys. And there's a lot of you on here that are that way. So stay blessed, you guys. Stay blessed. So, all right, let's get into this here. Let's delve into this. Delve, learned a new word. So trying to use it today. So here's the thing. Whose life are you changing? And why do you really want this? And I think next week, finish off the month, because we got some stuff that it's about asking those questions. You know, and Rose and I, she just hit me up this morning. She was watching a video. I wake up this morning and she's already awake and she's already listening to something, some positive encouragement, some learning. She's already got the mind going. She's got that, and I'm just, both eyes are crossed still. My pillow's still stuck to my face, and she's already on it. So we doing that though, for her being an introvert and being able to be who she is today. If you guys watch her training on Saturday, you're like, no, she's no introvert. And I'm telling you, there is. If you don't understand introverts, you kind of know what to look for, and I see it in her at times. But because of what she does, takes every minute of every day, she's learning something. She's at the gym, she's not listening to music, she's listening to podcasts, and she's taking notes at the gym. Like, why did it take you so long? Oh, I was listening to Jeremy Miner and I got a bunch of notes and this and that. So that's that self-development, and that's huge. So got a question for you guys, and here very soon I'm going to ask you guys a question. So I kind of want you guys to pay attention to this first part. I know some people are doing stuff and they can listen, but I want you to pay attention to what I'm going to ask you guys. Okay. So whose life are you changing? Or, and this might come a little harsh, but I don't mean it that way. This is out of love. Okay. Or do you even believe in yourself enough to be the change that people are looking for? Are you a selfless person? And a lot of people would consider themselves a selfless person, but I've got a story here I want you guys to listen to. See, it's the story of two doors. Okay. So door one and door two. So there's a lady and she's on the motivational speaker network or circuit or whatever. And she's talking to one of her mentors. And she's like, you know what? I want to be as big as you. I want this and I want that. And I'm going to speak to more people, 25,000, boom, boom, boom. The guy's like, okay. He goes, let me ask you a question. And this is the question. These are the questions. I'm going to run over two scenarios and then you guys need to pick one. Okay. So the question is, you impact someone's life. Okay. Whatever you do with it, you impact their life so much that with that help that you gave them and that guidance and that mentorship, that they grow into this person that speaks all over the world, has a team that's speaking. But here's what happens. Every time they tell their story, even down the business generations, anybody in her or that person's organization talks about how they got started and where they came from, you are given the credit. It's because of you, Miss Williams, Catherine Williams today, because I'm out here and able to do this and grown a huge team. You get all the credit. Door number one. Right? You guys got it? Okay, here's your second choice. Door number two. Same thing happens. You've helped someone create all this success. They're growing. They're growing a team that's growing. And every time they tell their story, you never get mentioned. They don't bring up Miss Ishmael Arredondo helped me do that. Nothing. You were kind of faded into the background, even though what you did got them there in helping the mentorship, right? But you're never mentioned. That's door number two. I need you guys to all put in the comment section, in the chat, which one would you like to be? You want door one, where you get recognized for everything, or door two? Either one's okay, but which ones are you? We got anybody? Oh, we got a two, Jabri. Oh, we got some twos kicking off. Oh, some ones. Okay, that's good. That's good. Honesty, that's a tough one sometimes. So regardless of which one you were and which one that you wanted to walk through, success is a journey. Okay? Success is a business. In this business, the ACN business is a selfless journey. So that right there, that story, those two doors should tell you who you are. Either one you picked is completely fine. Okay? Because that's your journey. That's the door you choose to walk through. But if you're going to walk through those doors, either one, you do it with a whole heart. Okay? Because you know what? Let's be honest about it. People want recognition sometimes more than they want gold. It's just how it is. That's it is. Some of us have selfless jobs. Some never get recognized at all for the work that they do. My job, occasionally we get recognized. And what's actually funny about that is if they did the news agency, you got caught on film doing something, or they interviewed you, you actually owed the whole fire station ice cream. And that happens all over the place, right? But not all of us were that way, but a lot of us are. And having a job like I had in the fire service, you know, I worked my way up to captain, you know, after engineer and fireman. And I was even below that a couple of times, grunt, toilet cleaner. But it all started somewhere. Okay. I had to do my time to become who I was. I had to learn. Okay. I had to grow. So here's what happened with me. It's just my job, not even calling it ACN, is we grew, like Rose and I, we grew ourselves into success. Okay. My queen does it every day. She's unbelievably amazing. Just the stuff that she, like I say, you wake up in the morning and she's already got video on learning something. Then she wants to tell me all about it. So I don't know who's got the better life, her because she's growing, or me because I listen to her stories and I could memorize stuff. So I didn't have to listen to it, but a lot of times it's cheating, I know. But no, it's making you so better. But here's what's happening with our selfless. And I say we're not perfect, guys. Don't think that we're not perfect at all. But our idea is, who are we helping? Okay. John Maxwell said one time he was at an international speaking, and he asked everybody, who here's got a bucket list? Everyone's like, man, I got a bucket list. I want to jump out of a plane with a parachute. You know, I want to climb Mount Whitney. I want to run a marathon. Everyone's got these bucket lists they want to do before they go. I want to meet Elvis or whatever it is. All right. They say Elvis is still alive. That's why I brought that up. But just kidding. But who are you helping? What are you doing that others see that you don't realize you're doing? Now, that is servitude. Okay. As far as I'm concerned, like my wife, who's become this amazing, outstanding individual who speaks in public at times now when she has to, that and she still might be scared, but at least she does it. She does it with a ferocious demeanor that she's going to freaking conquer this or die trying. That's something that she's grown herself. I'm going to give you guys probably know some of the individuals I'm going to be talking about, but I'm not going to give you their names. Just because. But we have a young man on here that he's grown a successful solar business. And you ask him, like, hey, how did you get started? And what got you going right there? And he's like, you know what? Here's where I was, here's where I was working. And Chris and Rose took me under their wings. And, you know, we always challenge each other with new books. Hey, have you read this one? What do you think so far? He was on me too. So it was good. We challenge each other. But now to see who he is, you'd be like, man, where this young man, he's a natural. No, he's self-made. He's a self-made success story because he took the time. God gave him and he gives us challenges. He gives us abilities. And if we don't use them, why do we have them? So he's grown this huge success, and he'll tell you, you know what? Chris and Rose took the ACN. Wow, really? He goes, yep. I was in front of, he's in part of our networking group, and I was at our networking group, and he was talking one day in front of everybody. He was giving a thing. And I'm listening, didn't expect anything. And at the end, he says, you know what? I got here because of personal development and everything else, and because of Chris and his wife. They guided me, they helped me, and showed me the path, but it's up to you to walk on it. And he did. Just another girl the other day, she was 19 when she got started and got in business. And Miss Natasha knows who she is. And because she's the one that was kind of helping her. grow. I just saw her the other day. It has been a couple years. It's probably 3 to 5 years, right? I'm like, hey girl, how you doing? And she looks at me, she's like, ACN? I go, yeah. And she's like, man, so what are you doing now? She's got her own successful business. I think they uh, do something with women's mustache. No, I'm just kidding. She does something with facial stuff. And she has her own business. And I'm like, girl, how'd you do that? He says, and you know what she says? She goes, you know what? And she brought up Miss Natasha's name. She's ACN and Miss Natasha because she was coachable and she took what she learned. Not everyone's going to stay in ACN, but what are you doing? And it doesn't matter if they do or they don't. That's not our worry. But who are we being to people? Another young man who actually was a good friend of the first guy I talked about. Same thing. He's a CEO of a company and has done some things, and he gives it all back to what he learned in ACN. We have our nephew. Crazy stories. He goes up to take a job as a law enforcement officer. And you know, law enforcement is pretty big on the backgrounds. They kind of want to dig into your background to find out who you really are. And Rose got a call, and he put his auntie as a reference, and he goes like, "Who is this kid? What? I mean, we interviewed him, and we've never been across someone with the leadership potential for our job as someone like this, and he's still young." And Rose told him, it says, he's been personally developing. He's been reading books on leadership. He's been studying. You just read a book. People have done that before. Read a book, learn nothing from it. So being someone to somebody else. I have a young lady in this business, wrote me a letter one day on how much of a father figure that I had been to her and how thankful she was. And I was just like, what? Me? And I didn't see it that way. Another young man in the business, I'll give you just a last story. Wrote me a letter, and his dad basically just wrote him off. Didn't want him as a son and hated him and everything else. And he wrote a letter. I can't read the letter if I found it again to read it to you, because I'd be in tears again of what it meant for me to just do what I do naturally. And that's what this business has given me, as it's growing to success. Guys, this is Harvard University learning. It's hands-on. No, I don't got a degree, but do I have the potential to make more than all those people who do have degrees? Absolutely. You can't get this anywhere. Anywhere. Got a question for you. Well, I know you guys back east, it's already noon, but for us here, it's what, 9:22. All right, 12:22 back east. The day's still young. But who will you meet today? Who will you come across? Okay? You guys could be making a huge impact on someone's life and not even know it. You guys ever heard the stories of the people that met somebody, became friends, and years later, they said, hey, remember the day we met? You were walking by, I was sitting at the park bench. She goes, yeah. And you said hello? I go, yeah. That changed my life. I was just finished writing a letter to my mom, and I was going to go home and kill myself because I didn't think anybody cared. And that's not the only story. Some people, someone smiled at them. Someone said hello. People said, the story we've heard before is I was going to go home and kill myself, hang myself, and someone smiled at me. Didn't think they were worth it. Who are you walking by today that's having those thoughts? They might be working at work when they get off work. None of us know. None of us know. Do you think Les Brown's teacher, I don't know if you guys know the story, but if you don't, you need to find it. Les Brown, when he was young and in school, teacher did something and he told Les, he said, hey, son, you. And he was a substitute teacher because the real teacher knew he was mentally incapable. And that's what everybody told him. Basically, he was stupid. And his substitute teacher said, sir, you, son, get up here and do the problem on the board. He says, I can't, sir. He says, why not? Get up there and do the problem. Sir, I can't. Get up there and do the problem. Sir, I can. He walked over and said, why can't you do that? Les Brown's in school. He's a student. And he says, because I'm basically incapable of doing stuff like that. Everyone's always told me, you're basically stupid. And that teacher told Les, don't you let anybody tell you what you are. And this is in short, that's not the exact words. You can be something and basically go do it. And look what, because of what that teacher said to him, changed the direction of his life forever. That's who I'm encouraging you guys to be today. Because if you guys see someone walk by, you're drinking coffee, and someone walks by and they look at you. See, for me, you make eye contact with me, you're done. All right? I might not prospect you every single time, but I'm saying, how you doing? Hello. How are you? Simple. Didn't cost me a dime. All right? But here's what's crazy. When you do what you're meant to do in this world, when you are who you were designed to be, and then you hear these words when someone's talking that says, I'm here today because of what, hold on a sec, guys, here, because of what Adrian O'Neill said to me, what Mr. Al Randolph said, what Alicia Hernandez, okay, Miss Sonia Williams, because of what Miss Sonia Williams said to me, because of what Rick, who's in Hawaii, where I'm here in California, said to me, what Mr. Ishmael Arredondo said to me, what Mr. Harrison Mills said to me. I'm here today because of what they did. They changed the trajectory of my life. See, you can't buy that feeling. You can't, it's priceless. But you know what? Here's what it makes you want to do. It makes you want to go find another one. But just remember, guys, you could be that person. Okay? Another thing here is like, we have to be really careful with this information I'm going to give you right now, guys. Okay? But Rose Googled this morning, because we get good mentorship here from Mr. Thomas, multimillionaire, right? But Rose Googled, what's the cost of mentorship for millionaires and multimillionaires? They have something on Google about this. Rose says it's $25,000. So we all need to just pray that Mr. Thomas doesn't watch the training and see the value of his worth right there. I'm just kidding. He already knows his value. $25,000. I don't know what you get for that, but not a lot of people out here can afford that. Even if I could afford it, I don't know if I want to pay it, because it's like, well, what would $25,000 get me, you know? So, but in reality, guys, people are out there and they'll mentor you if you're coachable. I've got billionaire mentorship, right? Virgil, when he was doing the business back in the years ago. And it was a prize for that. The prize was I had to read 5 books. And each book for mentorship, Mr. Thomas doesn't have to do anything. He just has to just be coachable. But with Virgil, I had to read 5 books. And out of each chapter of each book, I had to write a summary of what I got out of that chapter and 3 things I was going to implement in my life from that chapter. And it had to be handwritten and given to him. It couldn't be text message. It couldn't be emailed. It had to be handwritten. 5 books for mentorship. I didn't realize reading those 5 books and studying like that, each chapter created a freaking memory, a recall on me that was just, Rose would be like, how do you remember that stuff? I was like, oh man, Virgil made me write that down. That's why I remember. So there's a price for everything, guys. Pay the price, because what comes from that is untouchable. But we had a friend of ours yesterday speak at a women's conference. And I want you all to learn this. If I had it filmed and was authorized to show it today, right? If I was, I would show it to you. And I would only show you the first part, okay? Because the first part and the edification she gave back. You know, Mr. Mills is amazing at edification. Sit down and have coffee with him. He can give you some highlights, okay? And it's edification back to him that tells even a bigger story. Because yeah, he's talking about what he sees in you, right? But the person being edified now has clout, I guess you could say. And when you give that return edification back, look, I'm here because of people like Mr. Mills. That's edification and learning to return edified. If someone gives you that's what it makes it nice for us, because Mr. Thomas isn't here all the time, right? He's not at your friggin' town all the time, unless you live at okay, Adrian, unless you live in Vegas. All right. But here's it is. Mr. Thomas, this is the mentor I was telling you about. This is Mr. Thomas. And I've already edified. I'm not edifying him in front of Mr. Thomas. I've already edified this 10, 12 years in Success from Home magazine, self-made book, just all the attributes of Mr. Thomas. And Mr. Thomas can talk to them. But here's what happens. I'm not going to be, Mr. Thomas, I'm not going to be in Fresno all the time. But I'm going to tell you what, Mr. King here, his wife, Miss Evelyn, Miss Natasha, whoever that's in Fresno that you edified to Mr. Thomas and introduced to Mr. Thomas, that edification back from Mr. Thomas says, when I'm not here, this is who runs business. That's return edification. That's what helps you grow. But get a chance, learn from her. It's funny. I'm in this networking group. We got like 40 business owners, right? Business owners should know all this crap. Man, people, I'm going to tell you something. When I'm at my networking group and someone says something to, I want to thank Chris for blah, 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 blah. That says, hey, I couldn't do it without the business you're doing. That return edification, and they just sit there with their mouth open. They don't know what the heck that is. Even on the Nextdoor app, right? I don't use myself because I can't sell things on Nextdoor. Neither can you, unless you get the stuff for that. I want to be in the general feed. So a friend of mine, and it might be Evelyn, Natasha, Rose, because Rose is my wife, but she's still my friend. A friend of mine hooked me up with energy. A friend of mine got me identity theft protection. A friend of mine, so when things happen, I'm doing that. But it's the edification back that people are like, I wouldn't get home security from anybody else except Miss Evelyn Phipps. And we've gotten business partners that way. But it's because of the edification. If this person is speaking so highly of somebody, let me check this out. Okay? So it doesn't matter who you are or where you go. Be like me. Speak to people. I make friends all the time. No one to me is an enemy. There's a couple buttheads out there, but no one's an enemy. I'll get you somehow. I'll get you some way. I'll say something stupid or funny or something. I'll get you. But it doesn't cost me anything. Get out there, guys. Talk to people. Edify people. You guys want to learn to talk to somebody? Okay. You guys, here's just some take home and get your freaking butt out there and do something to work right now. You ready? Watch this. Listen to this. You guys go to the mall, go to a store, everywhere you want to go, and act like you're shopping, right? Men, don't be hanging out in the women's section, acting like you're shopping, unless you're married. And women, just kidding, but get out there. Here's what I want you guys to do. And I do this all the time. And I want you guys to see the reaction of people. Okay, that's all I want. Is the lady yesterday that I saw was wearing, she had leopard skin shoes, leopard skin pants, leopard skin shirt, and a leopard skin jacket. And she walked by. I said, excuse me, ma'am, you are rocking the leopard skin today. That is awesome. That freaking lady smiled. She was smiling as she walked away. I just gave her a basic edification on, I just, something genuine, because I thought it was pretty cool. I've talked to people, just the other day, a lady walked by, even was a little girl. And I said, girlfriend, I love those boots. Man, and because they were like fluorescent or something, or translucent, and she just came alive. Man walks by, hey brother, where'd you get that shirt? That freaking thing is sharp. I like that. I haven't seen that before. That's freaking boom. Chest pokes out a little bit. they get a little size on their arms all of a sudden. I don't know where it comes from, but it just giving them recognition. You want a recognition from, you find an elderly lady who just had her hair done or she's rocking some red lipstick. Say, girlfriend, you were rocking that red lipstick. Man, they just smile. But I'm adding value to them. Add that value to people, guys. Get out there. And back east, you only got a few more hours left, so you need to get busy. Out here, guys, it's early, so you catch a coffee shop or something, but find somebody that has something. This is going to start your conversation today to add value to people and grow business. Mr. Hefferson, thank you, sir. Appreciate you so much.